Afternoon Adventures, it's time for another quick dip. I'm your host, Half Sanity, and today we're talking about Divine Smite. Now, I'm sure I don't need to tell you all why Divine Smite is awesome, or why it's awesome in a multi-class situation in particular, but I'm gonna. Here we go. Divine Smite is a level 2 Paladin feature that allows you to spend a spell slot of first level or higher to add radiant damage to a melee weapon attack. I definitely don't need to explain why adding more damage to your attacks is great. Now there are two things you need to make Divine Smite work, whether you're a Paladin or a Paladin multiclassed with something else. You need melee attacks, melee weapon attacks, and you need spell slots. So, of course, we want to maximize the amount of attacks we make with something like extra attack, and we also want to make sure we have enough spell slots to fuel our Divine Fury. So, we want to look at things like the Valor and Swords Bards, as well as the Bladesinger Wizard, that get extra attack at level 6 and are full caster classes. Now, bards in particular have full spellcaster progression and also pair well with the charisma paladin stats. It also works well with Pact of the Blade Warlock, as they get Thirsting Blade, which is essentially the same as extra attack, though limited to their Pact weapon. However, Warlocks only get a couple of spell slots. They do get them back on a short rest, which is really nice, but you only get about a turn's worth until high levels at the very least, so take that as you will. But Warlocks also get a lot of cool, like, at-will stuff and some good cantrips, things like that, so still a good pairing. But even if you don't get extra attack, and if you have something like Polearm Master that lets you attack as a bonus action one additional time when you use the attack action and attack with only a polearm, you can get another attack that way. So being, for example, a Paladin to Sorcerer 18, and using Polearm Master to give you 2 attacks can be a nice way to deliver that damage. Sorcerer can also use their Font of Magic feature to change their sorcery points into spell slots, and spell slots into sorcery points, of course. So if you want to, you can manipulate your spellcasting as a sorcerer to end up with a lot of low-level spell slots. For example, if you sacrifice, let's say you're high level, you sacrifice an 8th level spell slot, you could turn that into, say, 4 first level spell slots for smiting, because smiting with an 8th level slot would be wildly inefficient, given that the damage caps out at 5d8, or 6d8 if you're hitting a fiend or undead. Then using anything above a 4th level slot, you're just losing damage. So if you want to, you can sacrifice all your high level spell slots and make them into just a ton of low level spell slots, literally dozens if you want to, and smite all the livelong day. But barring that, you can at least make enough spell slots to get you through a few fights without having to worry about it, smiting on every attack, dishing out crazy radiant damage. And bonus points, if you're a Divine Soul Sorcerer, you can also pick up Holy Weapon and add another first level Divine Smite worth of 2d8 radiant damage to every attack also. Though also if you go Paladin to Cleric some amount, you can pick up Holy Weapon, dish out those extra 2d8 radiant damage with every attack, use Polearm Master to attack twice per turn, most turns, unless you do something else with your bonus action. Now there is some debate, and I've seen it argued successfully both ways, that Divine Smite doesn't work with unarmed strikes or natural weapons, so mixing Paladin with something like Monk or Druid isn't going to get you smites on those cool attacks. Personally, I disagree. The developers have also said, Jeremy Crawford has said, that while it doesn't fit with their vision of what a Paladin was when they were designing the class originally, it certainly won't break anything if you allow a Monk or, say, a Moon Druid to smite with their attacks. It's going to be, it's going to add the same damage as if they were using a weapon anyway. It's not going to change much at all. So, with that in mind, playing as a Paladin Monk could get you a very cool Iron Fist sort of thing, although monks don't have spell slot progression, so you probably wouldn't be able to smite that often. Only a couple times per day. But it's an option. But going the Moon Druid route, I actually have a Paladin / Moon Druid. It's super fun. Going the Moon Druid route, you can totally just transform into like a bear or a dire wolf or a giant hyena or a flying snake or whatever it is you want to do, and then deliver some extra punch with your spell slots that you're not using to cast spells because you're a beast. That's about all that's in my head right now for Divine Smite, but before I go, I want to also point out that as a 2nd level Paladin, you will get access to 1 plus your Charisma modifier, 1st level Paladin spells, prepared daily, as well as a fighting style, which of course if you're going polearm, you could probably go ahead and take the Great Weapon fighting style or the Defense fighting style to gain 1 extra AC if you're not a big fan of those damage rerolls, like I'm not. Mathematically, they're not that great. Or you could take one of my new favorites, Blind Fighting, from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, giving you 10 feet of blind sight. Super duper good. And you also get 10 points of Lay on Hands, which is not a huge amount of healing, but it's really nice for picking people up off the ground that are unconscious with 0 HP. You can just deliver them a nice small heal to get them back on their feet, back in the fight. And you also gain a couple uses of Divine Sense, which is nice occasionally. But that is about it for that. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next one. Happy gaming. Peace.